All right, week 3. Let's go. Like I do every day, I work out before this, so workout killed me a little bit. Felt like death after, so it was good. But body's pretty loose so far. Warmer day, so don't need to hit as much soft tissue. Already pretty feeling loose. For now, I'm just gonna stay away from the peanut, just so I can open up a little bit more range of motion. And as I start opening up range of motion, I'm gonna start getting a little more soft tissue work in there with the peanut. Let's get in that pack. Yep, still pretty tight in there. To get better. Feels a lot looser than it did. Let's get our mobility work in. I've been feeling pretty good. You got one guy lifting back there. He's in season, so I don't really need to spot him right now. It's just getting loose. But I might need to spot him soon. I feel like I actually have some range of motion there. Probably look at the video and be like, nah, just kidding. Feel pretty good. I don't have as much tightness through that hip flexion, that glute around that right hip. So I keep working soft tissue and that joint range of motion. I just keep seeing that adaptation. So that pain's going to kind of reduce. T-spine actually feels decent. Got a little bit of bunching right now on the top of the shoulder to do this trap raise. But it has been a kind of lighter couple days, and like I said before, I had a pretty heavy lift, so I'm gonna hit my dynamic movements real quick. Like I was saying earlier, my right hip, even flexion extension of that hip feels a lot better. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot more range of motion through this. T-spine can definitely get better, but lower half is a lot better. See how that adductor is loosening up. A little bit tight right now. Definitely feeling it a lot more higher up as it works into like the base of the glute meets the hamstring, and that adductor comes in. Did a little bit of pre-throw off camera. The last 2 things on camera. Just trying to really work that serratus and isolate that while I engage the core. Be able to separate the two. I do want to make sure that I'm not one going too wide or doing too straight up. I want to stay nice and rounded through the shoulders, so the scaps ride across the rib cage. Shoulders feeling pretty good today. See how it feels when I'm throwing. I'm sure all the pitchers know what I'm talking about. Actually, just baseball players in general. I just got about halfway through my first set of plyos, or my first drill for plyos. Realized I did not turn the camera on, so good job, man. But shoulders feeling better. I can definitely feel when I'm a little bit late, a lot more stressed through the shoulder. I can definitely feel that. So just kind of making sure I'm patient, getting up on time, so I can rotate out, taking that stress out of that shoulder. The most difficult thing with plyos once you start feeling loose is controlling effort. Something I see definitely a lot of our guys struggle with. I'm struggling with. I struggle with fast. It's just controlling effort once you start feeling loose, warm. You understand what you're trying to feel and blend from the drill as you progress or throwing back and when you get on the mount. My hip's getting a little bit better, feeling a little bit more tension through there. So I'm actually just anchoring my foot right now, kind of what I used to do when I pitched. So I don't get too deep in extra rotation, trying to just limit it a little bit so I help myself rotate, especially since I'm limited internally. Also, just make sure when you're throwing plyos is not rapid firing. Take a breath in between. I'm very guilty of that. I know a lot of us are. It's sore in the glute today. Like I said, did lift it earlier, and then a bunch of lower body stuff afterwards. So I'm pretty sore, and that's pretty understandable. But make sure you get movement even after a lift, just to make sure those muscles and those joints don't tighten up on you, or you have those next day sorenesses. So the first one, obviously, is the spider lunge rotation. Actually did some of these this morning, so I'm not going to do as many. I'm just going to do 4 per side rather than my 6. And here's my adductor. That is always incredibly tight. Just make sure when you're doing this, you're actually hinging. Not what I did on my first one, it's just bend down. Hinge, both the knee and hip hinge. Obviously, more of the hinge happens at the hip and down. So you create stability through that joint. Daily test of athleticism. pogo jumps to a broad jump. All right, so I did most of my. There's a lot of background noise, so I'm trying to talk a little bit louder so you can hear me. Did most of my soft tissue actually earlier today. I'm just gonna hit some pec and lat soft tissue real quick, and then I will get into the rest. Yeah, I should have filmed this earlier, but I had a lot of work to do, so did not get a chance to get stuff. And for the R&D athletes, we are building stuff for you guys to make it way better for you guys to follow your program all year round, not just while you're here. And for R&D, when I say that, that is not just for the high school athletes, that is for college and pro athletes. All right, see if I got thoracic extension today. I don't think I do, though. Yep, definitely don't. Let's get the hips rocking a little bit. We're going rapid pace. Like I said, I was busy pretty much all day today, so I want to get home and I want to eat dinner. So it's my motivation right now. I'm not trying to half-ass anything, but I'm being very direct and very rapid with everything. There we go. Right. Oh. trap raisins. Not too bad, actually. I have been sitting a good amount today, so I've had the issues with that right hip, and it's just kind of a little bit tight, so we're definitely going to be a little bit tight today. I'm going to hang out, kind of stretch the hip flexor for a second, which is extremely tight. I was kind of sitting hunched over. It looked like some, what was it? I think it's Lord of the Rings. My precious. That's what I looked like at my laptop today, so it was not good. So I'm a little tight in the hips. Don't worry, I'm going to write myself a new plan for the next 3 weeks after this, and then I can see what adaptations I can create. So I just wanted to give myself a little baseline in this first 3 weeks, see how I'm moving, just open up and be an athlete again. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more specific. Get a lot more adductor movements, lateral, because we can see I'm very tight still. Hamstrings are very tight today. Had a lot of accessory work yesterday on my lift, and there was a lot of hamstrings. So, dude, a prone banded hamstring curl sounds really easy. That shit sucks. All my stuff's in my car right now, and I really just don't want to get it. So I'm just using tap conditioning balls today, BioCare balls. So that's what I'm rolling with. I'm using the 7 ounces. So I'm not overloading to start as much. So it's gonna feel a little bit different. All right, so I lifted, did a lot of my main mobility stuff at the gym about 20 minutes ago, and then I just came home and did it here. The tennis court at my apartment, so I'm just gonna do mainly my dynamic stuff, and then I did some pre-throw there, so just gonna mainly do a little bit of modified pre-throw for today, especially being a recovery day. So, like I said, I'm going to do modified pre-throw. So, we got the pink driveline, which is 53 ounces. So, I'm going to do some ER toss-ups, get the shoulder working a little bit, and then just kind of run some figure eights on the shoulder, work and loosen up. I can move the feet around, feel different movements of the body, feel different separations, but just getting the shoulder moving. Once you feel a good workout through there, I can do, just kind of here, stimulate the shoulder too, or shoulder sphere. Mainly just try to have the sand in the plyo move around a little bit. Which that fatigues me out a little bit. But I can do whatever I want. But no, seriously, if you don't have all the implements and equipment that you need, if you have a heavy plyo ball, you can do a lot of stuff. You can simulate bell club or a shoulder sphere or a shoulder tube by doing a lot of stuff. You can just go like this and you can probably hear the sand working around. It was a shoulder tube. You can go a little bit lighter, obviously, depending on your strength and your age and whatnot, or just kind of feel. Like I felt like going a little heavier, kind of getting the body moving a little bit more. But you can also go green plyo ball, green drive line, or whatever you want. So that's my little modified pre-throw today. A little more of an overload today. Just trying to build some strength and regain that range of motion as working with heavier plyos does. I know I'm definitely pretty limited internally post my surgery. So using a heavy plier is going to obviously work into create a little more work into increasing what I already have in my retroverse in my shoulder, but also working forward, that weight is going to help bring a little bit more range of motion on the internal side as well. That is according to the research I've read. I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable with these plyos, just the weights. Say first week, I would definitely feel a little cranky on some days, but starting to have less days where I feel cranky, so progressing. Hold off that a little bit. Now I'm going to go a little more of a blend, just a light overload to baseball weight. Like I said the other day, I'm going to go with like a modified decel or split stance throw, whatever the verbiage. But start with feet closer together. Just let the trunk and arm work a little bit, take a little half out of it. Make it a little bit more like a tennis serve, a little bit kind of feel. So just rotational through there and not pushy. And then as I kind of get some better feel, I'll start spreading, going into more of a split stance. So the guys that do coach right now, when I say like I say like for a drill, just blend them. You don't have to go 3 and 3. You can do like whatever rep. You'd be like, oh, we'll have 6 throws with this. You don't have to go 3 and 3. You can go 4 and then 1-1. Like what your feel is. If like you feel good with a lighter implement, stay with that. And then you feel a little bit off on a throw, switch back to a little bit of heavier implement or lighter, and then trade off. Create different feels if stuff feels off. So you can just see my beautiful legs. So we'll say being on a consistent soft tissue and mobility progression over the last 3 weeks definitely has made my life a lot easier, and I feel a lot better my day to day. So if I blow up my arm, at least the rest of my body will feel pretty good. So. Radford and USC Upstate game going on. Hoping boy Jack McDonald gets in there. But starter for Radford's doing pretty good. Yeah, I have my hood on right now, mainly for the fact that like I roll back, I don't get my hood stuck and then choke myself. It's a pro tip right there. I've watched way too many of our guys do that, and it's, to be honest, a little bit funny, but gotta be better than that. I'm sure you can hear all the baseballs behind me, which is fucking annoying. Glutes feeling a little bit better. Not as tender back there. It's definitely feeling a lot looser. As I update my program for the next 3 weeks, see how that changes for myself. A little bit more tender on the right side, or on the left side. Trying to sit in there a little bit. That hurts. Alright, today we're actually going lacrosse ball instead of that foam ball. I'm going to start with the pec first. Doing a little more kind of research and just kind of looking online and whatnot. I think what I need to invest in is a nice, which I think we have, but it's a yoga block where I can set this up a little bit more so I'm not kind of leaning in as much. But I can get into that pec a little bit more easily. Like I said, my hips feel pretty good. I'm a little tight through the hip flexor, but not too bad. I'm gonna sit here a second. I'm actually feeling that a lot on the left, which is good. Definitely gonna get way more mobile through there. So as I learn about myself, regaining, coming at athlete again. That's one thing I probably was pretty mobile at younger in my career because I never felt any tightness in there. But as I gotten older, a little bit tighter. That's something I had to address. All right, so finishing up week 3, doing pretty good. I do want to say though, quick, I did do all my pre-throw. I just did it off camera, mainly because we moved some stuff around, so I don't have the best angles to get for video and stuff like that. But pretty much all I've been working on is cuff strength, cuff stability, and just upward rotation. Just allowing my scap to learn how to ride along the rib cage and get that upward rotation, take off any tension and bunching that I have on the top of my shoulder from potential scar tissue or anything like that from my surgery. So over the last 3 weeks, I've noticed that get a lot better. As I mentioned earlier, noticed my hips and just general mobility getting a lot better. So I feel a lot better day in and day out. So that's good. But what I was going to say is, so I started throwing a little bit more. The initial kind of aches and pains of kind of getting back into throwing are starting to dissipate a little bit more. So I feel better more consistently as I throw. So guys I remember hearing this before, they're like, oh, it feels so weird throwing again, this and that after a little bit of a shutdown. It's not abnormal. I'm also learning where my arm slot is. It's probably a little bit lower than I was throwing before, which is probably why I got hurt in the first place. I unfortunately did not have access to some of the technologies that I have access to now as a coach when I was a player, and some of the ideas and thoughts with when I was playing are a little bit different now, so I was probably forced into a little bit higher slot rather than more of a natural kind of lower 3/4 slot. I'm trying to talk a little bit more while I throw, but I also just want to feel things out. One thing I am doing with those drills, because I'm trying to constrain against that front hip and get tension through that rib cage there. So I do want to be a little bit patient. I want to rush through and start throwing from here. I might be, but I'm not trying to feel that. I'm trying to be patient, allow my arm time, kind of have that swing, because I do have a little bit of a longer arm action. So plyo throw. So say first kind of rounds of plyos, feel a little bit lighter, then as you progress, feel a little bit better. You can start picking up a little bit more of the intent. You also don't want to rip during your plyos because you're trying to blend and build off it. Feel a little bit lower than I did with plyos, but we'll see. I'm discovering. Shift over a little bit. A little too hard. Just a tiny bit too hard. Yeah, anterior cuffs just a little bit. Looks sore. I literally can feel that scar tissue right there. Just gotta get back on scar tissue. Feeling really good. So what I was kind of saying before, what I thought the video was working, is so I'm kind of working in a relaxed position. I'm just kind of letting my body work so that scap can just catch that pendulum, that like my arm can work and just kind of pendulum through that scap and just kind of bounce off and release out here. Just makes my shoulder feel a lot better. I'll start light, just be athletic, build it up. Don't worry about these numbers. Trying to stay as light as possible. I went a little heavier on plyo, so I'm going to stay a little bit lighter today.